Hi, my name is Nathan Peterson, OCD and Anxiety Specialist. I'm going to be answering your questions today. Let's get right to it. It's often said that as you sit with anxiety, the feeling will eventually go down and get weaker. But what happens if you're sitting with the anxiety and the level doesn't go down? Could this, for example, take days to go down? Okay, so we talk about anxiety has to go up and has to go down, has to go up and go down for treatment. It's like you're exercising, you're lifting those weights. But sometimes anxiety doesn't go down. It always will go down at some point. But when we're doing treatment, you are facing a fear. This is bringing lots of anxiety and distress. Maybe something you haven't done in a long time. So yeah, anxiety is going to spike. But when we sit with anxiety, I know we use that term a lot, that means we literally could sit with anxiety. I just chose an action. I'm gonna do something that makes me feel anxious, and I'm gonna sit there with it. But the way I'm sitting with it makes a difference. Maybe I'm smiling. Maybe I get just a big old smile on my face. Maybe I'm just relaxing, look like I don't care whatsoever. I'm taking any threat that comes to my mind and I'm choosing to leave it uncertain, where I'm using a maybe, maybe not, or I'm saying, sure, okay, cool. Guess it could happen. Thanks for the thought, man. This is awesome. And then I'm not doing the compulsion afterwards. Usually when we do it in this manner, that anxiety does start going down. But we also don't want to get caught up in thinking that that is how we get better. The anxiety going away means we're getting better. Because then people start thinking, I'm doing something wrong. My anxiety is not going down. What do I need to do differently? Instead, it's like, man, if the anxiety is not going down, oh man, I love this anxiety. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you never go down. Stay here all day. I know I've got this event coming up soon and it's gonna be like, anxiety usually doesn't wanna be here, but if you wanna stay, that's cool too. Yeah, I love you, anxiety. Thank you for being here. The more we take even that power away from that, and guess what? You don't have to believe it. You don't have to believe what you're saying. You're an actor, actress. We're acting it. But what it does is these signals that are like, you're in danger, you're in danger, you're in danger, and you're just like, okay, cool. You're not reacting to it. It doesn't want to stick around. So ultimately, it's accepting that anxiety might stay, might go up, might go down. You're accepting either way. One indication of anxiety not going down often is because someone is continuing to do a compulsion or they are ruminating. They will not stop trying to figure it out. Yeah, I'm saying the phrases, but it's not working. Wait, didn't I just say something not working is not the indication of anxiety going down? We don't say the phrases to get anxiety to go down. We do it to retrain our brain and take power away. So if anxiety's there, cool. Could it take a few days? Nah. Anxiety's gonna go up and go down and go up and go down. Sometimes it feels like anxiety could stick around for a few days, but there's plenty of periods where I'm sure there's no anxiety. If it spikes back up, that means someone's trying to figure something out, or they're triggered by something and they haven't done an exposure. So we want to get to the exposures. Can I do ERP while dealing with past trauma? To put it in another way, can someone with PTSD and severe OCD do ERP? Yes, yes, yes. So past trauma, ERP, the treatment's actually pretty similar, but what precedes the other? Is the trauma the thing that is triggering the person more than maybe their OCD symptoms? Are they intertwined? Sometimes they are. Depending on who you're working with, some ERP therapists can work with trauma. They can also do exposure and response prevention for OCD, but people often do both, work on both treatments. There's a lot of acceptance and commitment therapy that comes along with PTSD treatment. There's also changing our response to a story or a situation that happened in our past. Often people will expose themselves to a certain situation from their past in a safe and comfortable, somewhat comfortable way. But ultimately, yeah, you don't have to be stuck in OCD because you have past traumas. You don't have to be stuck in your past trauma because you have OCD. Let's do treatment for both. And you might ask your therapist if that's an option. Can you work with both? Do I need to find someone for trauma, someone for just ERP? But you'll find that sometimes working with just OCD, some of these past traumas actually start diminishing. Can sertraline cause intrusive thoughts or OCD? Been having intrusive thoughts since being on medication, and everything you've said about OCD has been everything I'm experiencing. So since I'm not a medical professional where I'm like prescribing medication, is this what they look like when they're prescribing? Yeah. I've seen just my own experience. Sertraline, which is an SSRI people often use for OCD, it most of the time helps. I've seen side effects where you can probably read a whole list of side effects like weight gain and sleepiness and, blah, 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 blah. But I do find for most, right at the beginning, tends to be more thoughts. Some people, they're just like, whoo, I'm golden, I'm good, man. Other people, there could be more intrusive thoughts. There could be more anxiety that's being felt. They just feel almost out of it. And then those symptoms go away. It's not going to cause OCD, because if you have OCD, you have OCD. But I have seen some where SSRIs maybe just weren't the best option for them. But you also need to check it with your prescriber to make sure that this is something you want to stay on, and make sure you have an appropriate diagnosis as well. Thank you again for another really helpful video. Every single one helps me give a bit of rest from OCD. I was just wondering how you might be able to deal with worrying that you might have done something wrong or bad in the past, even when you know you haven't. Go check out the videos I have on false memory OCD. It definitely is a telltale sign when someone's like, I think I did something, but I'm not sure if I did it. Or it takes something that was real and it adds more details that they're like, I'm not sure if that detail was correct, if that's true, if it's, all that. But we use exposure and response prevention for something like this. My job isn't to figure out if I did something or not. It's not to say, you said here, I know I didn't do it. We got to kind of trust in that intuition and just say, okay, well, if my brain keeps making me doubt, then I'm going to give you a maybe, maybe not. Sure, I'll leave that possibility there, but maybe I didn't. But I'll leave it there, but maybe I didn't. That's the whole point of that maybe, maybe not, for the brain to say, fine, I'll just be there right in the middle. I'm not going to, I guess you don't want to figure this out anymore. If you don't want to figure it out, it doesn't want to stick around. But exposures can be different for every person. Maybe one person's writing out the scenario they think happened, and they're reading it over and over and over and over again. But they're not doing it like, I think this happened. They're making it happen, and they're changing their response to it. Yeah, man, totally. Sure. Cool. Yeah, I remember that. Awesome. Great. Even if it's like something super horrible to the brain. Cool. Horrible. Yeah, sure, I guess. The more we take power away from a story that the brain has created, it doesn't want to stick around. So the biggest thing is, I'm not going to figure this out anymore. I'm not going to figure out if it's true, if it's not. Every time that thought comes up, yeah, maybe, maybe not. But if it's a maybe, then that means I'm a bad person. Okay. It wants you to keep connecting back to it, but we're not going to do that. Nathan, please a few words about repeating words in my head, names, things, etc. The name pops up every time I'm watching TV or reading books. Always. You know what? I don't know if I've created a video on this. People often call this earworms. There are things that people think about, whether it's a word, it's something repeating, it's a song, it's a ringtone, it's a whatever, it could be anything. And it will just replay over and over and over and over. And the more they try to get it to go away, it's going to replay over and over and over. So the big thing for something like this is that we don't try to control it. We let it be there. If it's so annoying, which I get, you can't get rid of those that annoying feeling, the distress that comes from it. We actually say, let's bring it up on purpose. If it's a jingle that's stuck in my head, yeah, I'm going to listen to that jingle 50 times a day. Set a little timer in my phone, and when it goes off, I'm like, da 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 da. Can I say that? Not sponsored. I'm going to do that over and over and over all day long. I'm going to smile and I'm going to love it. And I'm going to, great. I hope it shows up when I'm watching TV. Really cool. And when it does, you're like, yes, this is what I wanted, man. I got to take power away from it. It seems like the more I listen to something, the more I hear it, the more it's going to be stuck. But that's not really what happens. The more I listen to it, the more I get so sick of it, the brain doesn't even want to produce the song or the sound or the name. But we don't see success based off of if you don't have those thoughts anymore. Because that's part of it, is like, I have to accept that maybe I'll just keep repeating, but maybe it won't, but maybe it will, but maybe it won't. If it's there, great. If it's not there, great. That's kind of the attitude with it. And so we almost turn it into like a game. If I can have this name pop up when I'm watching TV, yes, man, I get 5 points. If it comes up again, yes, I get 5 points. I want to get 50 points here. I love this. This is so great. Keep coming. Sometimes people write these things down over and 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 over. And they're doing it with the attitude of just like, this is great. I love this. Thank you so much. It sounds so backwards, but that's the treatment. What should I do to deal with the fear of my OCD getting worse? Guess what? OCD gets worse usually when people aren't doing treatment. But when people are doing treatment, they can definitely still have that fear that what if my OCD comes back? What if it gets worse? Do you know what the magic words are? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. What if my OCD gets worse? Oh man, I hope so. What if I gave it an answer like that? What do you think the brain's gonna think about that? It's gonna be like, huh? Wait, the brain's thinking? Or is it the brain? You have the brain. Who's thinking the brain? it's going to send some signals that say, wait, what? Why aren't you scared anymore? You're not going to say, it's okay. No, I'm doing well. I'm doing all my treatment. I'm not going to get worse. Because then it's like, let me grab onto that and make you doubt. So instead we're like, I don't know, man. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I hope so. Cool. Hope my OCD gets worse. If there's a fear of OCD getting worse and I'm not doing any treatment whatsoever and I'm not doing anything, maybe it's an indication I should probably start doing something. I gotta work on some treatment because my brain's probably sending some signals for me to go do something. But if anxiety is involved, something else is happening. Because we can have this kind of intuitive thought, man, I hope my OCD doesn't get worse. But it's not anxiety provoking, doesn't cause distress. It's more just like a thought. If it's more than that, gotta do something about it. Some people get so caught up in doing so much treatment to make sure their OCD doesn't get worse that ends up being a problem, which is so weird to think about. So I've had people even say, don't do your exposures today because we're dealing with the fear of your OCD possibly getting worse if you don't do it. So we're like, yeah, man, hopefully my OCD gets worse because I'm not doing my exposures today. Ooh, I'm so scared. So you kind of look at why am I making these decisions on doing treatment or not? Either way, you want to live your life, even if you have fears, no matter what it is. I appreciate these comments coming in and these questions. I'm going to be doing more of these. So can you please ask your question down in the comments because I'm going to grab them, put them in the next video. Also for a more step-by-step way to do this ERP treatment, got 42 videos, worksheets, journal prompts down in my Master Your OCD online course. Go check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you again for oh, that's not what you said.